Also, that's how you met the Fergusons.
That's how I met the Fergusons. It was with the Fergusons. It was I remember I called them first, and then 2 days, 3 days after.
Most catering businesses wait for work and they go 3 months, 4, 5 months without work, and they wait to bid for work.
Yes.
And sometimes they're undercut on prices.
Yeah.
And because you're competing with so many out there, it's a race to the bottom when it comes to pricing. But that doesn't seem to be your issue.
Yeah. So how I look at the scope is catering would take so much of my energy. Because number one, I'm the driver. I'm the guy that stocks up. I'm the chef. I'm the one that takes people in the morning so that they can get to work. And I'm the one that actually supposed to also go drop them off.
Oh.
And I need to wake up around about 2 o'clock in the morning. They were like to me, "We seen you. Just make sure you bring your A game this time."
Hey, okay.
Aye, ngati A game ready. Do not worry, Wena. You've been seeing my work. And the A game was brought. And guess who was announced to say, "You're now going to cater for us till we close the season"?
Yes.
I did that.
Welcome to another edition of Mindset Prophets. I met our guest at a radio station. We had an interview that blew my mind. He has quite the impressive entrepreneurial journey and story. And I think what impressed me the most was just how solid he is at reflecting on his journey. I know there are many people that will watch this episode that are employed full-time and want to make the jump into entrepreneurship. And I just want us to talk to what that journey is like, what the transition is like, how you prepare for it. And you may know that entrepreneurship is not as rosy as they say it is, but how have those that made the jump dealt with some of the challenges they faced? If this sounds interesting to you already, this is your episode. I'm joined today by Tshepo, and he is the founder and director of Studio 411. Slight tip, he cooks at a high level for some high-level individuals. Welcome to the episode, man. I'm exposing you already.
You are right there.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Happy to have you, man. I think I told you the first time we met, we have to meet another time.
I remember you saying that.
And we have to record this interview.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about yourself and Studio 411.
All right.
Who is Tshepo?
All right. Let me start off. Who is Tshepo?
Yeah.
Tshepo is basically a guy who grew up in Deep Kloof. Went to Elokshini, Eskolweni. I used to walk 30 minutes to school, 30 minutes walking back. So imagine what time was I supposed to wake up at that moment, you know? And matriculated when? 2000. And it has been a journey. I've been into Mr. South Africa. Was one of the contestants for Mr. SA, but 2011, not 2000 though. I've worked in not the film industry, but the cellular phone or the telecoms industry. That's where I actually started working. When I started working, the first job that I did was a call center consultant, customer care for Cell C.
Okay.
And then that was 2004. And then, as a temp, you start as a call center consultant, and then you now keep on growing and growing. I applied for a job which was a retentions consultant after a year of being a call center consultant. On the retentions part, we need to make sure that you save clients. You know, you need to upsell, cross-sell, all those kind of things. Give them what they want, you know. So that's a skill right there.
It is.
And you keep on grasping slowly but surely when you actually move up the ranks. And then a year after again, I applied for a position called Customer Relationship Management. So I dealt with high-profile clients.
Oh, so that's where it started.
That's where it started.
Mastering the lingo
Yes.
of talking to some high level.
Yes. from Cell-C. And I was given a portfolio of big companies like KPMGs. KPMG, I used to deal with Department of Labor and individuals who used to actually own their own companies. So I would just make sure that I take care of them, hear their needs, hear their cries, make sure that I cross-sell, upsell, just to make them easy, to keep on giving Cell-C money. Stayed in that job, I think, for about, 2 years. And then I applied for another one again, which was an area channel manager. But that now it's me going out to now deal with channels directly, the franchisees, the franchise stores, to take care of those kind of stores. And then I think after 3 years, that's when I was like, "Hey, sing right, man. I think I've played my part.
I need to have my own business.
to have my own business." This is 2012. I opened up the first business, which was Ishisanyama. Nyevula Mamelodi, next to Jack Buddha. People probably know who Jack Buddha is in Mamelodi, because he had a space and he used to be my client. So I was like, "No, man, I see this space is not being utilized. Just give me the space. Let me just do it." And then he was like, "Yeah, we could actually collaborate. So I could run my thing there, and then you could actually be on this side and do your shisanyamas and stuff and your food and stuff. And then this is what I'll actually just be selling, which is the beverages and stuff." I'm like, "No, cool. Let's run with this thing." We ran with it. But things sometimes, even though you could plan them, they don't work out the way you want them to work out. Business was growing though, but in terms of now the relationship, it was now tempering into our relationship a bit, And I just saw that, okay, fine, looks like you want this thing, so why not? You can just take it. Let's just run with it.
Save the relationship.
Yeah, let's save the relationship. You run with it, and you could actually make big thing with this thing because you already have an establishment. And then I left.
When you were doing this, you were still full-time employed?
No. This is when I've resigned, 2012.
Hey,
I resigned, and then after that I went. And then I think 6 months, 8 months down the line, that's when we like, nah, not working. And then I'm like, okay, cool. You could be left with these things. Run with it. And then Tshepo being Tshepo, peacemaker of high note, I decided again to say, okay, fine. What's the next step? You know which direction you want to go to. You still want to go to this restaurant thing, the food thing, and all those kind of things. But what would actually take me there? And then was me applying for a role now as a ambassador, which I was a grants ambassador.
Okay.
So an ambassador is basically a below-the-line marketer. So I was doing below-the-line marketing for William Grant & Sons. So that helped me in terms, which is in the marketing space. It helped me now to actually know what is actually happening in the back of a restaurant, and knowing how the tricks and how to play between the tricks and the budgets of the beverage, how it comes into businesses, all those kind of things.
Let me pause you.
Yeah.
I know you'll pick it up.
All right.
You've said, I was counting marketing words that you're using.
Yes.
That maybe some people might not be familiar with. Below the line marketing, cross-selling, upselling.
Yeah.
Can you try and explain what those are? So
all right.
Because they are powerful words for entrepreneurs to know, especially if they're going to use them.
Yes. All right. I'll start with below the line. So in marketing, there's something we call above the line and below the line. Above the line, it's what you see on the streets. It's your digital marketing that is like a big billboard. That's above the line. Above the line again, it's your adverts. That's what is above the line. Above the line again would be in social media now, whatever ad that actually is coming into you, that's basically above the line. And then now going below the line. Below the line, you're dealing with clients straight. You're dealing with consumers straight. You actually are trying to find out what do they actually really want and how do they react on this thing. And if I do this, this is how they react. So that would be below the line. And how many people are actually buying even the product and all those kind of things. You just need, below the line is like having you here and trying to source out everything that you need so that I can actually give you a better product. That's below the line. So it's like
upselling and cross-selling.
Yes. And then upselling and cross-selling. So on the upsell is, I want to do just an example. So
You can use a burger. People know that.
oh, a burger.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go into the phone industry, the telephone industry. So upselling would be me trying to actually add on a product onto whatever product that you have already got.
Yeah.
Right? And then the cross-sell part would be if I'm adding a bundle. So the cross-sell would be, how about I give you some iPods whilst you actually are at it, you know? So those are things that you deal
Other
with.
products that I can buy along with
Yes,
this product.
along the product that you actually are buying. Yes.
I'm curious about one thing that you didn't talk to though. When you made the jump to full-time employment, why did you choose food in particular? Because all the roles that you're talking about had nothing to do with
food.
Yeah.
It still goes back
What made you believe you would win in food?
in the food industry.
Yeah.
It's been passion since high school. So I used to do like delicious sandwiches in high school. So I was the master that would do you a, maybe the fancy word,
Naughty code.
notikota. Itramazini. I was able to do a tramazini auction.
Okay.
You know, and remember, by that time I'm not even exposed to such life of going to all these fancy restaurants and stuff, but I was able to do a gourmet sandwich at any point. So that's where the love of the kitchen actually started, and trying to cook at home and cooking this like a gravy at tamati with wors and stuff. So that sparked the fire all the time, you know. So now it was just a point of me, I need to fan this thing now so that it just grows. But during still those times, which was around about the year 2000, 2001, the big thing for me was you need to own a restaurant, but you won't own it now. So this has been sitting in my head for all these years. And I said to myself that it's okay. Let's go and learn what the tricks of the world is and how to actually know the economy better by working for someone and working in a space which is marketing and sales, which also that's my passion, because I can sell like an iceberg to an Eskimo very way too easily. I could come up with the concept to say, this is how we could actually cut this thing, do it like that, this, pour this thing here, you know, and then say, hey, here's this thing. Let's run with it, you know, because I'm wired like that and I'm great when it comes to selling. So all these combination of me starting to in the economy part of things, in the working space, for me was, you need to go learn how the economy operates properly, so that by the time you reach 35, which was my goal.
Okay.
By the time you reach 35, you're able to say, you can do this on your own. And you know the tricks and the tribulations of how the companies that you worked with, how they dealt with situations, how they actually came back, and how they actually came to making sure that people are paid, you know?
Wow.
Those are the things that you learn.
That's a different mindset. Did no one come to you and discourage you, though, to say you can't quit your job? If this business is hard,
it's always there.
Start it on the side and keep your job.
That is always there. Definitely, that is always there. You'll get it from your friends. You'll get it from your family. You'll get it from even the colleagues that you're working with to say, ndoda njani, like, uyahola, what more do you want? Like, starting this thing is so difficult. People would come and tell you and whisper that to you. But as a person, don't listen to the whispering of people, because that's not the whispering that you're supposed to be listening to. The whispering that you're supposed to be listening to is the one that's here to say, hey, this is the direction that you're supposed to go, because these ones are here just to infiltrate. Is it infiltrate, right?
That's what you mean, but I'm thinking fear. You want to say they're there to test you and test your resolve and how much you believe in the idea.
Yeah, and they're trying to steal away what you are coming up with. And Bona, it's not that they're doing it intentionally. They're doing it in a point of, we still want you to be fine. They still care about you. They're not saying that, no, you won't do it, you won't crack it or stuff. But they still care about you to say, hey, this is what's happening. You see what's the economy. You see people are losing jobs. You see how many people don't have jobs. And you just want to leave your job and go do this thing.
Let's talk numbers.
Yeah.
You left your job. You took some package, I presume. And then you started this business that you then had to let go. How much did you lose there?
Then it was almost 200,000.
That is a lot to lose in your first business, and you don't have a backup plan.
Yeah.
Did you tell the friends?
No, I told them that, hey guys, I've decided to move out, and I've decided to leave my person that I was doing business with that space. So hey, it happened, and it's okay.
200K back then was quite some sum.
Yeah, it was a lot. Hey? It was a lot.
Yeah, I hope I'm not triggering you.
No, you won't.
Pussy trauma.
Nah, those kind of traumas. I think when you are in such situations or in such a space, these are things that you need to understand that you're bound to get into. And if you want to hold on to that, you'll never move.
Yeah.
If you holding on to that, you'll never go anywhere. It's just a point of, okay, fine, I fell. You need to pick yourself up and dust yourself off and run again.
Did you have someone support you during that phase?
During that phase, when you say support, in what manner?
Emotionally, someone encouraging you and being there for you, because sometimes you feel like you're alone.
Family is always there to encourage, definitely.
So you had family?
Yeah. They'll never judge you and say anything, They'll just say, you're a child. Let's run with this thing.
Good for you, man, because there's someone who has said in the same situation, there's a part of the family that's saying, who did you think you are?
Yeah, that is bad. That is bad.
So it's different strokes.
Yeah.
And then when you got into your second version of the business, there's a story you told me last time with one of you started off with the catering, and one of the high profile gigs that you got was with the Fergusons.
Yes.
And that taught you quite a lot.
Yeah.
You can go.
All right. This is 2018. This is when I've resigned on my second job that I had, not second job, I don't know how much job, but the company that I work for, the second company that I worked for, William Grant & Sons, because I worked for those guys for almost 5 years. To be precise, it's 4 years, probably 8 months. And then I resigned, it was December 2017, that's when I resigned. November 2017, resigned. December, obviously there's nothing that's happening. I have a plan. of what's going to happen after, which is my catering company. And comes January, there's nothing that you could do until end of the month. Figure the third quarter of the month, that's when I prospected to clients to say, this is me, this is what I do, this is the catering that I run, and this is the company name. And how I actually did that to companies was to go make them taste my food. You know, I would actually lock them in to say, I would call them first, prospect, and then knowing that they do need those kind of services. And then after that, I would call them to say, hey, this is me. And then they would set up a meeting. And then I would say, okay, fine, should I come with how many servings? And then they'll tell me probably 5 servings, 10 servings. Cool, sharp. I did that to all companies.
Okay.
And guess what?
At your cost.
At my cost. You see, let me rewind back now. Let me rewind back now. From me working for corporate, right? There's something that we call a marketing budget. This budget is a budget to go entice clients so that clients could know about the company. So that's how I did it. With the money, the smallest money that I have, that I said, this will just go and do this work. And it did wonders. It it opened doors, right? It closed deals. And the industries of the corporates and the film were like, you know what? We need someone like you.
We like you.
Yeah.
Also, that's how you met the Fergusons.
That's how I met the Fergusons. It was, with the Fergusons, it was, I remember I called them first. And then 2 days, 3 days after, when I called them, they said, please email this person your contact and what you are doing. And then I did that. 3 days time, that person actually sent me an email back to say, can we set up a meeting? It's like, okay, cool, sharp. And then we did set up a meeting. And then that's when I went to their studios. It was the first time being in a studio. Now they told me their needs and all those kind of things. And then I was like, cool. They asked me, can you do it? And I was like, yes.
Yes.
I can do it.
Yes.
Can definitely do it. They said to me, you starting in a week's time, right? I was like, cool, awesomeness. Now I had to plan the team. I don't have a team that time. I had to plan to have a team, and who am I going to be employing so that we could do this job. This is a big job. This is a big catering. We're serving around about 60, 70, 80 people per day and all those kind of things. You're serving these people for lunch, 2 starch, 2 proteins, and then 2 veggies, you know?
Every day.
Every day. And then you have breakfast. Breakfast, it's your hot breakfast, which is your egg station, hot egg station, and then the rest is just sitting for them just to take and take and take and take.
Yeah.
Right? Now I need a team to do that. I got the team, cool, it worked out. Things worked out way too well. But hey, man, as I said last time, the third day, I think it was the third day, you could see this guy's tired, exhausted. I didn't know that that kind of catering would take so much of my energy. Because number one, I'm the driver. I'm the guy that stocks up. I'm the chef. I'm the one that takes people in the morning so that they can get to work. And I'm the one that actually supposed to also go drop them off.
Oh.
And I need to wake up around about 2 o'clock in the morning. So I arrive at home probably around about 9 o'clock, 9:30. You need to be awake, Ngotu. Ngotu, you need to start preparing breakfast. So imagine how much energy that would take from a person. And at that time, you're preparing quality food, you know? Mm. The 5th day I was there, I remember one of the cast members said, yo, Tshepo, guy, you look tired. I was like, yeah, I am tired. I am so tired. Like
5 days.
Like 5 days. I haven't had enough sleep here, you know? And the trial was for 2 weeks, and then we closed our trial. And I think, a week or two. And then we closed the trial, and then obviously there was someone that's supposed to come in that they were testing and stuff. And guess what? I didn't win the job that time. They told me straight that you don't have enough capacity, and I did understand that. That didn't pull me down or make me now disappointed to say, I've resigned from a good job that I had so much of great credit card to go anywhere and do whatever or travel South Africa. It was a point of, okay, it's okay. I understand.
Is that what you said in the meeting, or you were just feeling it in your heart?
No, in my heart. In my heart. I was like, all right, I understand. That's fine. Still, what's next? You've already have prospected to other clients in the corporate world. And those clients now also from their side, they now calling me, which now I'm just catering for around 20 people, 15 people, 30 people, not hectic numbers. And by that time, it's only you catering for lunch only, which is okay. You could handle that C2 in the kitchen with no stress, And now I'm growing. I'm getting more of these contracts now, of these
Tshepo,
caterings.
What's the difference between your approach to catering and the average guy out there? Because I see many catering companies, they don't talk like you.
They don't talk like me. How do they talk?
No. When it comes to numbers and getting clients and making it like a niche sector that can sustain you and grow you and make money.
Yeah.
Most catering businesses wait for work and they go 3 months, 4, 5 months without work, and they wait to bid for work.
Yes.
And sometimes they're undercut on prices.
Yeah.
And because you're competing with so many out there, it's a race to the bottom when it comes to pricing. But that doesn't seem to be your issue.
Yeah. So how I look at the scope is, I think my strong point is the selling part, right? And secondly, it would be when it comes to numbers. If I have so many companies in a week giving me a certain income, that means I'm actually revolving money in the account. So there is money that keeps on going in and coming out. And with that, it gives me an opportunity to obviously have money to be able to be paying people.
Okay.
And making sure that I'm paying rent and I'm getting my stock at that moment. And the trick is, again, rather for me, I feel like I'm just like another normal retail store, like your Checkers or your ShopRite, where you need so many companies to work with. But even though it could be small numbers, but when you combine all these guys and you give them a certain price, you actually are going to have a certain turnover out of that. So that's how I think about these kind of things.
So even if at the time that you were growing, even if the jobs were smaller and the numbers were 10, 15, 20, because you combined a number of clients at that level, then sustained the company.
It does sustain the company.
And you are not sitting and waiting to bid for
work. And also, that also helps you in terms of references, trade references, because most companies, that's one thing that they want. They want to know, who have you worked with? Can we trust you? Are you good with what you do? And if you get trade references that are so great, a person who actually wants to employ you and they get those references, they'll say, you know what, come through anytime, because they'll never doubt whatever that all these companies said. So also it was for that, so that you have a footprint and you are visible. And when you have the footprint and you are visible and people know or companies know about you, now it's easy for them to actually be calling you to come and do a certain job with them. And this is where word of mouth actually comes in.
Yeah.
Because the references is basically word of mouth. Have you heard about these guys? Have you heard? Because that's how right now also I'm getting business. I would ask people, wait, how did you hear about us? Like, no, we heard from,
That
and I'm
person.
like, oh, okay, they told us that you are so great and you have a great service. So that would make you now, it takes you out from all the other people, and it differentiates you from everyone else.
So you need to do well with the clients that you have as well.
As well, yes.
All right. So your company at this stage was growing, and the reputation was. How were you solving the capacity challenge, though?
The capacity challenge.
It had hit you with the Fergusons.
Yes.
Did you go learn and change something in how your business works?
All right. Let me go back then to year 2018. So year 2018, I know that I had a contract with Catering Enterprise Propeller, South African Tourism. I did some work with, Fergusons, which was the international guys. So, and more. So for anything that I felt that the capacity needs to grow, I would contract you probably for those few days to say, come through and work with us. I'm having such a project. Come and work with us so that we could deliver this.
So you'd contract other catering companies?
Not catering companies, individuals. So I would employ in terms of a temp. Having temps out there to say, I have these guys that now I'll be able to call when I have lots of work. So that's when they came in.
Okay.
So running that from 2018, roundabout on 2018 December, that's when I did one of the biggest jobs I've ever in my life, which was feeding about 5,000 people at Musina with South African Tourism. So I used to do, it was a 3-day to 4-day job. I had to do breakfast in the morning for 500 people, right? And then I had to do lunch for still 550 people. And then I had to do dinner for about 600 people. So these were the stuff of the border, and everyone, even cops, so whoever who comes into that border.
Okay.
And then the 5,000 part was for people that were coming into South Africa or going to the other side. So for the guys that were in the buses, I would create like it was sandwiches and boerewors rolls and some chips
some
and
packed
everything,
lunch
some
and stuff.
packed lunch. So we had to do 5,000 of those.
Whew.
Yeah.
3 days in a row.
3 days in a row. So that when they come through, they have that sticker of South Africa, welcome to South Africa, all those kind of things. So that was one of the biggest jobs that I did. And it actually set me apart when now clients like the Fergusons, because they kept on being on my radar when it comes to social media, they would see what am I doing, and then they saw also that to say, okay, fine.
He's fixed this capacity thing.
He actually has grown, he has grown and he's good. And we're seeing so much of progress out of what he's doing. And 2019 came through also. I ran 2019 like it was so easy for me, and it was so great. And companies were just coming in. And we just kept on growing. And then fast forward to 2020, COVID days.
COVID and catering.
Yes, COVID and catering. This is how I explain this thing every time. When a plane starts, it takes off, it goes, shoo, there it is, now it's in the air.
Yeah.
And then it sits on autopilot. Is it autopilot?
Autopilot, yeah.
Autopilot. It knows the direction. It just goes. It goes. 2019, that's where I was at as a company. Easily. I was just cruising, and going into 2020, cruising. And then this pandemic comes. And this pandemic, it actually just Yeah, messed up everything. I remember having a job that I was supposed to do when the president announced COVID and lockdown on the Sunday. I had a job that I was doing because I had jobs that I was doing.
Yeah.
I had also a big job on a Monday that I was doing with South African tourism. Immediately after the president announced, they just sent me an email to say, we know that you've already stocked up. We know that you have done this, that, and that, and that, and that, and that. So we need to cancel the gig because you've heard. Like, yeah, no, I've heard. We canceled the gig. I had the food. And then they were like, so if we're going to pay you, you need to show us what did you do with the food. You need to show us how did you distribute the food. And then they said, go choose any home or any charity that you want to give the food to.
Oh man, those are some good people.
Yeah. I was like, okay, I'll do that. And I did that. I went to one of the homes, the old age homes. That's where I actually did everything for them. And then gave them the food they enjoyed and they were good. And yeah, everything then locked up from there. So you're sitting at home, you're like, they said 2 weeks. What is happening now, you know? And you are now stuck in this lockdown thing. But because I had a plan before lockdown of doing ready-to-eat meals, which was to introduce ready-to-eat meals to individuals now, not corporates. I said, let now that plan actually come through. Because I felt that is the time for it. I felt that is the right time that God said, yeah, he's planted this idea in my head. Now use this idea so that you could still be afloat, you know, because you're no longer on autopilot. There's so many things that have been disconnected. So now you just need to make sure, Uti, you feed other people because you need to do an income. You still need income.
Yeah.
So that's what I did, ready-to-eat meals. And hey, it grew to a point of now I had to do packages for people. So a person would actually buy a monthly subscription to say, can you please bring me food for 2 weeks? 2 weeks was a certain amount. You make this
sound so easy. Did it work?
It worked. People were ordering. People don't want to cook. People don't want to cook.
Yeah, I would know.
Yeah,
I'm one of those.
You're one of those.
Yeah.
You see, that package would work for you because you just pay what? I think then it was around about 1,670 to almost 1,009, depending on the meals that you were choosing for the week. So if you were paying for the monthly fee, right, the monthly subscription. So what I will do is every Monday I'll come through and drop off your food. Of 5 days, which is Monday to Friday. And then I'll come back next week again to just drop off your food like that. So that you don't have this package that's sitting for a month. The other one now you have frozen it because I didn't want people also to
freeze food for a long time.
For a longer time. So rather freeze it for just a small time if you want to and then consume it. So I had that thing, Uti. Every week, they actually get their deliveries. And then they know, Uti, no, they are sorted. So that's how I stayed afloat. And that's how the brand was still afloat, where a brand was still visible out there to say, oh, these guys are still there. And iteke lockdown, my vula. Because I've been working.
And we've been grinding.
The brand has been out there. The brands were like, yo, guy, come through. Like, we still want to work with you. The Fergusons, they were the one that topped it up. I think it was, which month was it? It was the month of February when I got just a text to say, hey, bring your A game. This is what one of the managers said. Bring your A game. We need you to come through and it's you and it's another caterer. I don't know which caterer was it though. And then they were like to me, "We seen you. Just make sure you bring your A game this time."
Hey, okay.
Aye, ngati A game ready. Do not worry, when you've been seeing my work. And the A game was brought. And guess who was announced to say, "You're now going to cater for us till we close the season"?
Yes.
I did that. These guys were so happy. And we gave them the nicest, greatest food, the greatest experience, the greatest customer service, to a point of, I'm in the film industry, catering in the film industry because of the Fergusons films.
Yeah.
You know, and they put me to be one of the guys that is trusted in the industry to do food for productions. Which right now, I don't know, I can't even count how many productions I've been working with. Because you're getting calls from left to right, and people are like, "No, man, we would really like to work with these guys. You know, we really like to taste their reputation," and which is our
I think
motto.
it's props to them for developing you as well.
Yes.
And just making sure that initial rejection
Yeah,
wasn't just a rejection for effect.
absolutely.
But it was, you truly aren't ready, but the day you are ready, we'll be watching and we'll give you an opportunity.
Yeah.
And they did.
And they did.
That's highly commendable. When I'm listening to you, though, and I know I'm not the only one feeling like this, you make this too easy. It's like you don't make mistakes, but I know you have. So let's talk to the KZN debacle. One of your disaster moments as you were growing.
Yeah.
Talk to us through that, because what I want is someone to learn that mistakes can happen in business, but generally your approach to fixing a mistake
problem.
when it has happened. Yeah.
Okay. The KZN. I did a job with Cell C, which I was the chosen caterer to do an activation meal for them, right? And this activation meal has to come out same time in all regions. So Joburg, Cape Town, Durban, East London, Bloemfontein. Yes, those were the regions. So I had to make sure that it's the same food.
Same time.
Same time, it's dropped same time. And the taste is the same. You know? Cool. And then all these other provinces did well. Joburg, because I'm in Joburg, I'm based in Joburg. So that would excel. Cape Town did well. Bloemfontein did well. The Eastern Cape did well. But KZN didn't do well. KZN was a flop. A big flop. I remember a customer calling me to say, "Where is the food?" And the food was supposed to be delivered 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
In the morning, you know, with everything. And then I called the subcontractor to say, "Hey, how are you? Where are you right now?" She was like, "No, ngiyangena manje. It's okay, cool, no stress. Ngitshela uclient nami ukuthi hayi nangu umuntu athi uyangena manje. They're not far.
She's just outside.
She's just outside, you know? How? I'm serving Lapayana, the Cell C here by, yes. And then a call comes in to say, "No, the food is not there." I'm like, "No, Njani." She said she's coming in. She said around about 20 minutes she should be there. And then the manager's like, "Tshepo, there's no food. We haven't received anything." I'm like, "Okay, let me just call her." And then I call her. "How? Are you lost? Do you know where this place is and stuff?" Like, "No, I do know." It's okay, fine. Let me do this. Let me ask the person that I'm speaking to actually direct you so that you and him, you are actually aligned. Because
so that
I can't.
It's not via you each time.
Yeah, because I would not know Mauti Nila how far you are, you know? And then we did that. So the manager speaks to her. Yakhuluma naye. Uyamtshela ukuthi ngiyangena manje. How? Girl, uyangena. Niti 12 o'clock yashaya, ne? And then 1 o'clock.
Yo.
2 o'clock.
3 hours.
How? I remember
And
also
for food people,
yes. I remember the manager calling me to say, yo, guy, I've been waiting for this food, hey? And this lady said she was here and there's nothing here. You know, I'm like, okay. Let me try and call her. And now she's not longer answering my phone. You know, I was so hurt. Because you're messing up everything. Client will not even trust you, even though your 99% was excellent. That 1% that you messed up, it could actually ruin everything, because that's something that happens in life, and especially with business.
Yeah.
1% is the only thing that could
Hurt
mess
you.
up. Yeah, could mess up everything. Fast forwarding, the lady arrived there at 3:30.
From 11.
From 11. Arrived there at 3:30, and then she dropped off the food. When they checked the food is not what's on the menu. The food is so soggy. Everything is just falling apart. We don't know what happened. And client just called me around about 4 o'clock. He was like, guy, you're going to fix this thing. You need to fix this thing. And you need to make sure that you fix this thing by, it was Wednesday, Friday. You know? So we're going to redo this thing for KZN, and you need to be the one that's there and dropping off the food. I don't want anyone dropping off the food. I don't want any subcontractor doing this thing. I don't care how you do it. You need to make a plan. You know? Like, okay, you client, I need to make a plan. I need to make a plan, and I made a plan. I stocked up in Joburg. I woke up around about 12 o'clock to drive down to Durban on a Friday night. I spoke to the school that I used to go to, the Culinary school, because they have a branch in Durban.
Yeah.
To say, hey, guys, this happened. I need a kitchen. I need some students. This is what I need to create. Can you please borrow me your students for the day? It will be there, part of practical and stuff. And they were not... They understood, and they were like, no, let's go ahead. It's fine. You can do that, Tshepo. Like, thank you so much. And then drove down to Durban. I remember ngifika ngo 5:30. Ngena ke. Durban. Nkatele. Now you need to be standing there by the stove and making sure that a product is coming out and is on
to
point.
the right standard, yeah.
Other things, I had to go stock up there in Durban, you know. The running around that I had to do was a lot. I was supposed to deliver, they said you're delivering at 12:30. I was there by, I think, 11:45 to drop off, my drop off.
45 minutes early.
45 minutes early, so that everyone is fine, you know. And then I dropped it off, and then I had to go to another branch. The other branch, they said, drop to the other branch around about 1:30, because I was looking at also the travel
logistics,
time, the logistics. And then I went to that space also. I dropped it off. The last drop off, one of the managers is like, yo, guy, I remember she even took a photo with me. Like, yo, you are so tired. You know, like, you look so tired. I'm like, guys, I'm from Joburg to come and prepare all these things for you, to come and deliver all these things for you. And hey, I had to do it. They're like, we are happy. Everything went well. We'll actually report to management. Everything went well. Yeah. That night, 6 o'clock, I was tired. So my sister used to live in Durban. So I said, guys, I'll just spend the night there. And you know, you are with family, but you are not there.
Yeah, I know.
You are tired, you know, and
they understood, I guess.
They understood. So we went out to eat, I think around about 6 o'clock. And then after that, we came back, and then they wanted me to go to an event with them. I was like, no, guys. Like, I am fine. I'm done 7 o'clock, sleep 7:30, it's okay. And I slept, woke up the next day, drove back to Joburg. Just like that. Just to go.
What's the lesson though for someone who goes through a challenge in business? You outsource someone and that person messes up.
I think my advice to that is make sure, I know it's tricky, but let's rather make sure that that person knows what they're doing. And I think also let's check their credentials. That would definitely tell you if they could master what you normally do or not. You know, because in this industry, everyone, yes, can cook, right? But not everyone could master all the elements of cooking. And going to school, like me as a chef, I went to school because I had to go master all the elements of cooking so that I understand what goes where and what goes what, how to even read a debrief of a menu. If Gordon Ramsay could come in and say, yo, there you go, I'm able to articulate that.
Okay.
And actually do as he says, you know, because that's where now the trick is at. Are you able to articulate what you are given? Are you able to understand when we say we need a evaluate, what am I talking about? You know, those are things that you need to check. You need to check their credentials. First things first. Let them give you references, just like they need references from me, so that you know that you've got a good person.
And check the references.
And check the references. Don't just take and say yes, you know. And then you need to probably test that person also. As much as I normally would do tastings, let that person do a tasting for you.
Let's cook.
Yeah, let's cook. Or send, if it's far, send someone that is probably in that region to say, okay, fine, they asked me to come through so that you can do this for me. And then that person could probably tell you if it's a yay or a nay. For me, is check all those things.
And then with a client, when things have gone wrong?
With the client, if things have gone wrong, hey, that one, it's salt in the wound, hey? But you need to make sure you fix that. Don't say because it was done by a subcontractor, now it's not my fault. It's not my fault, it's theirs. No. The client actually gave you the job. You were the one who said you will produce. So you need to make sure that you produce for client. So if a subcontractor has messed up, client is going to come to you because you're the one that they gave that responsibility to. So you need now to make sure that you fix that problem. If it takes you, if it's a long-term thing, if it takes you to change that subcontractor, I'll advise that person to do that and carry on with someone that is better and make sure that they check all those things.
Yeah, and some people struggle with apologizing in those situations.
Yeah. You know, it doesn't hurt to apologize, especially to a person. You need to also be kind, and you need to understand where a client is coming from. Don't think this is about you. This is about the business. Now you're representing a business here. I know that a business is just an entity, but it also has a thing of a reputation that it has. It has a weight. So if you don't apologize for such things when they happen, you're messing things up for the business. Your reputation now is getting tarnished. So if you tarnish your reputation, hey, how do you think you're going to go forth or far, or word of mouth spreading for you to get to where you want to go?
Yeah, and I like that it's you saying it, because one thing that I pick up when you say, when you're going to KZN and you called a former school, you don't burn bridges.
Definitely don't. You mustn't.
Everywhere you go.
Everywhere you go.
Don't burn bridges.
You don't know. You don't know, Letsatila, how a day of that you will need that person.
Yeah.
You never know your day, because we all need each other as human beings or as companies. Never burn a bridge because of you were hurt by someone who probably worked in that school, maybe, for an example. You know, they probably have so many things could have happened at school, which I could have held igrach, but I never actually did that. But I still kept on being that person that respects everyone, so that when even I need some help, I could go to them. When they need help, they also come to me. Okay. They invited me to be one of their speakers, I think 2 months back,
Did you tell them the story?
Because they gave me, they timed me for the speech. I think I had like 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So I couldn't now break everything in. But, those kind of things, we need to...
The fact that they can call you, though,
yeah,
it shows some trust.
Yes, there's a lot of trust between me and the school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where does God come in this picture, in your journey?
In my journey. Yeah, grace comes in for me because I don't do this by my strength, right? Or by my might, guys. At times, I sometimes surprise myself to say, am I able to do this? Like, is it me? Am I in this space? I'm more ordered by His steps more than anything else. And it's the grace of God that walks with me wherever way I go. And when I come into a room, when I speak, sometimes when people say, and then I'm like, but I never speak like this on a normal basis, So all these kind of things for me comes in. And God is my first thing of life, I speak to Him a lot. And I'm from a Christian family where we know God in and out when it comes to prayer, when it comes to devotions, when it comes to getting together and praying together as a family. So I'm from such a family where my grandmother actually taught me and of how to know the word and knowing the word and walking with the word at all times. So where now He comes in is how I live, my principles. So your principles is something that would tell you your direction and how you treat people. So how I would treat people is how Jesus would treat people. And how I would respond at most of the time, it would be me thinking of how would He respond? How would Jesus respond on all these things? And that's something that all the time when I'm in a situation or I'm pressed, that comes into my mind to say, hey, how would Jesus respond on this thing? Or how would He do this thing?
Do you have someone or people that you call mentors?
Mentors.
Yeah.
I don't have personally. I don't
or
have
anyone
personal.
who has. Or books. I guess we could go there as well.
For me, my mentors are mostly books. So I read a lot. The books are the one that actually mentors me more than anything else.
Okay.
I think it's because also I just like sitting in that space and then just imagining all what they're talking about at that moment, and then having to make sure that let me use that strategy or let me use that principle.
I like that.
Yeah.
Do you have books that you would say have had the most impact in how you think and how you run your business?
Yes.
One or two?
One or two. See now,
there are too many.
There are too many, but my favorite book, Success Motivations.
Okay.
That's my number one book. Like, that's my go-to book anytime. If I'm just any other how, I would go and just read one of the chapters by Charles Capps.
Oh, yeah.
It only doesn't guide you or mentor you only on business, just by talking business, but it's interlinked with the Bible.
Oh.
Yes.
I didn't know about it. I'll check it out.
Yeah. So it's scripture. It's actually it's a scripture on its own of business.
All right. 2 more questions.
Yes.
These ones are simple.
Okay.
The first one is, as Internet Ekas, how did the English get there?
To upgrade.
How did you polish it up, man? What happened?
Hey, yeah, cool, and no English. I had cousins, 2 cousins. They went to a private school. From I think from grade R, Konamanj, standard 1 then. Yeah, they went to a private school. I used to be with them, around them a lot, and then they'll be speaking the private school English.
Yeah.
And you get from them, you know, and whilst you're speaking Nomakoko, because we would sit at my grandmother's house, Sisonke or Mina, I would go Gubo, and they will be speaking English with their friends. Mina, saso paisana ngithi, sase like asibat, nyebezo ukuthi bathini. But at the end, you catch up with these things, and then now you are fluent in speaking English, and you speak it properly. You speak it at one company that I used to work at. I was assisting an American.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Where are you from?" And then I'm like, "I'm from South Africa." And it's like, "No, aren't you from Australia?" I'm like, no. And lots of people thought, Vele, I'm not from South Africa.
Okay.
How I spoke. And yeah, that's how the English came through my cousins, being around them. You know, you adapt around the people that you spend time with. And this is what came out.
Yeah, beautiful, man. The last one. What advice do you have for someone who's trying to make the decision? They're full-time in employment, and they want to go for entrepreneurship. Just your advice around thinking around that transition. Or
transition.
You simply say, don't do it.
No, we have to try, hey? We have to try. Everyone has to try. You cannot see a result till you try on everything. Isn't from the menus that are available in restaurants, it was mistakes because they were just tried. Someone was just trying something, and only to find out it came out well. So even in life, everything that we need to do, you try. But you try knowing you have a plan. You cannot just try and say, I'm resigning, and then I don't have a plan, and then you think you'll be an entrepreneur. Who are you going to sell to? And how are you going to get an income? You know, you've been getting an income, and it's frustrating if you were getting an income and you no longer are getting income. It's really, really bad. You'll get frustrated, you'll hit your head on the wall. But when you have a plan, I would say first things first, have a plan, which is the exit plan of how you're going to get income out of you not working. And if you know your plan is solid, if you've researched of how you're going to get these clients. With me, for example, I knew how to prospect. I knew how am I going to entice clients. I knew how to go and knock on doors. I knew how to be there again and sell. You know, I knew how to cook this thing, you know. So all these elements, they came to one thing, to say, this is how I'm exiting my workspace, because I know how to do all these things. And I took all the product, and then I presented it to the clients. So this is by prospecting. Who are you prospecting to? First things first. The how. And how are you going to knock on these guys' doors? And how are you going to entice these people? Because
to choose you.
Yeah, to choose you. when you have all this part, I think in the selling world, the seven principles of selling. If you have the seven principles of selling in an order of how you're going to move your product, hey, I'll say to you, jump anytime. Jump. Your parachute is opuma at the end, which your parachute is God. And he'll never disappoint you. He'll say, Asambege.
Only if you've mastered the seven principles
The
of
seven
selling.
principles of selling.
Or any number of principles of selling that you can find out there. But I think I like your advice because it's basically saying, ask yourself before you jump that what skills have I acquired in this environment that make me relevant for business? Because if you're not clear about what those skills are, then you probably need to ask yourself, what will it take for me to make a business succeed? And do I have it now? I'm curious about one thing though. Who taught you things like costing and pricing and stuff like some of the technical stuff that's not in sales?
That's not in sales. The costing, in culinary arts, we do have costing. But I'm a master of mathematics. So I've been great in mathematics. When it comes to numbers, I could give you numbers just by looking to say, okay, fine, it will work. No, it won't work. I'll tell you because I know numbers. For me, it was more easier to say, okay, fine, how is food costing done? And it's not the easiest. Not every chef actually understands
knows how to,
yeah. Because namanje, I would see from the chefs that I would sometimes work with, say, okay, if you could do this costing, they don't know how to work out the numbers and make sure that it balances accordingly. But with me, I think it's because I'm a numbers person, and it came more natural when now it was part of my studies to say, could
makes
just
sense.
Ding, 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 give me a calculator, I could tell you what's happening here. Yeah.
Man, thank you. I wish you all the best, brother. And may you continue to cruise.
Yeah, we have to. It's hard. If you say you say I make it easy. It's very hard.
Nah, you make it sound easy.
Yeah, at the end, you get to be at the easy part that you're talking about. That you're saying I make it very easy.
No, you do.
Yeah.
In a good way, though.
In a good way.
And I know anyone who's hung with us till this time, you got some serious value. And I want to say again, thank you for helping the channel grow. Remember, if you want conversations around entrepreneurship, business, and financial education, we are your people. I'm going to talk to a number of entrepreneurs in different types of businesses as well, so that we learn the intricacies of how those businesses work. The main passion that I have, and well, if I have it, the channel has it, is financial literacy for Africans. We want a more financially literate Africa out there. I want Africans to prosper, and I want Africans to learn to work together. There are a lot of people that are going to continue coming to speak to those topics. So thank you for hanging with us till this time. And from our side, see you on the next episode.
Thank you, Dando.